chapter of Pirkei Avos. We are in Mishnah Zion. Huh? No, Mishnah Vav. Yes, Mishnah Vav. Okay, yesterday we learned the Mishnah about Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana, that he said that anyone that accepts on himself learning Torah, the yoke of learning Torah, is there's less yoke of the world on him, and anyone who distances himself from the Torah, so he has more and more and more difficulties and obligations in the world. And now we're going to learn Rabbi Chalafta. Rabbi Chalafta, who was Rabbi Chalafta? Let's look at the explanation of Kahati. Very good. Rabbi Chalafta ish Kfar Hanani. Who was Rabbi Chalafta? Rabbi Chalafta is Kenira, it seems, one of the pupils of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir was a pupil of Rabbi Akiva. He was a pupil of Rabbi Meir. Look into Baba Metzia, he brings all the places and says the Rabbi Chalafta in the name of Rabbi Meir. He lived in a place called Kfar Hanania, which is on the border between the Galil Elyon and the Galil Tachton. It was in the northern part of Israel. Okay, what did Rabbi Chalafta say? Let me just say it to you in English. What Rabbi Chalafta said. Listen to this. He said, 10 people that sit and learn Torah, the Shekhinah rests on them. As it says, Elokim nitzav ba'adat el. God stands in the congregation of Hashem. How do you know even 5 people that the Shekhinah is with them? It says, Agudato ad eretz yisada. How do we know the Shekhinah is even with 3? Because it says, Bekerev Elokim yishpot. How do we know that the Shekhinah is even with 2 people? Because it says, Az nidbaru yirei Elokim ish el re'eu v'yakshav Hashem v'yishma. Then fearers of God will talk one to the other, 2 people. How do we know even 1 person? Because it says, B'kol makom akir as shamir, every place where my name is mentioned, I will come to you and bless you. Of course, the immediate question which should pop up in everybody's mind, if the Shekhinah is with 1 person, so what do you have to have 10 people for? What do you have to have 5? What do you have to have 3? And what do you have to have 2? And even 1 person, so we'll learn that it's different levels and different revelations of the Shekhinah. And what is the Shekhinah? The Shekhinah means a revelation of God. The word Shekhinah means to dwell. It's the dwelling of Hashem. In other words, you start to feel what happens when you feel Hashem. What happens? What do you feel when you feel Hashem? So one thing you feel is that Hashem is creating you. He's creating the world. He's creating everything. You feel this. You feel what do you say? Inspiration. Oh, you feel inspired. You feel happy. You're glad you're alive. Okay, Rabbi Chalafta ish Kfar Hanania Omer said, Asara 10 people, Hayoshim that sit, Oskim b'Torah, and they work in the Torah, Shekhinah Shuriya b'neim, the Shekhinah is between them. Kalomer, in other words, Sheyoredes aleim hashpa elokis, that there comes down to them a revelation of godliness, le'ir eineim b'hachachma, that they become more wise. The learning of Torah suddenly becomes clearer. Right? It's like a person cleans his glasses, right? That see godliness more clearly. Shnei Amar, like it says, Elokim nitzav ba'adas keil. Adas and Ada means 10 people. Where do we learn that from? Ada? From the spies last week. Ada hara hazeh, 10 people. Uminayin, how do you know even 5 people that are learning Torah? Yoshvim v'oskim b'Torah, that the Shekhinah is with them. Shnei Amar, like it says, Agadas ad aretz yisada. Like it says, and his aguda, his group on the earth will be founded. Rashi, Rosho Shel Pasuk. Of course, here it doesn't say anything about God. His group on the earth will be founded. Well, this, you have to read what the beginning of the sentence is. The beginning of the sentence is, Habone Shamayim Ma'aliotav, the one who builds heaven as his, what is his levels. Kalomer HaShekhinah, God is the one that's the Shekhinah, God's presence, which that's up in heaven. Yoredis, it comes down below to the earth when there is an aguda. What is an aguda? 5 people. 5 people that sit and learn Torah. Shechin aguda, this word of aguda, mashmoto, it implies 5 people. What are we doing over here? Why does it jump around? I'd like to make it bigger. Can I do it? There we go. Okay, double click. Exit. ESC. What's ESC? 1 minute, 1 minute. Can I make this thing go up? Have I got any control?
ESC is a Skype.
Huh?
ESC is a Skype.
Yeah, you're not able to control it. Only I can. I don't know how to pass it to you.
All right, good.
I'm doing it from a telephone.
I'm trying to control. I feel like one of these little kids, you know, in the
You can control what it looks like on your own screen. You can enlarge it with view options, but you can't control it on anybody else's screen.
Okay, good. Okay. So therefore, Kolomar, Shechina, the Shechina which is in heaven, 5 people that sit and they learn Torah, because why do we know Aguda means 5? Aguda means what a person, Aguda, he grabs together in his hand, and a hand has 5 fingers on it. Scroll up, please. Umanayim, how do you know even 3 people? Even 3 people, that's it enough. Sha'oskim, enough that word they learn, 3 people who learn Torah, that the Shekhinah. What's going on? What happened? Oh, yeah, the Shekhinah is between them. Shneimar, like it says, Bekerav Elokim Yishpot. How do you know 3 people? Because it says within Elohim, Elohim, the word Elohim also means judges. Elohim means Beit Din. What?
I've got also more storage in the other bag that I put up with a small suitcase.
I'm sorry? Are you speaking to me?
Sorry, Rov. Just had to mention something more. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, okay. Try to turn it off if you can, because I'll start looking for the suitcase. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Elokim Hainu Beis Din Shel Shlosha. 3 people, namely Dayanim, the judges. That's the 3. For Omer Katuv, the Torah says that 3 people, if they sit and learn Torah, God will join them. Bishash Yoshvim Bedin. Elokim says, Elokim Yeshev Ba'adas Kael. It says God will sit together with these 3 judges. Some people say, how do you know even 5? Like it says, Bekirav Elokim Yishpot. They have a different way of learning it. And who are these Elokim? 10% of the battery is remaining. Okay, good. And these are the 3 judges and the 2 Balei Din. How do we know that Elokim is 5 and it's also 3? Sometimes Elokim can be 3 judges, and sometimes it could be 5 because there's 2 litigants standing in front of the 3 judges. How do you know even 3? Like it says, Aguda Se'are Oretz, and Aguda is usually 3. The word Aguda is usually 3. Before we said Aguda means 5. Here it says Aguda is usually 3. Listen to this. Shekain Metzinu Ba'agudas Azov. When it says, well, you have to sprinkle on the Matzorah, and you have to sprinkle Agudas Azov, and also when the Jews left Egypt, they sprinkled with Agudas Azov. It's always 3 stems. And also when you put together the Lulav, there's also 3. Right? Kapas Tamorim, Hadas, and Arava is 3. Umenayim, how do you know even 2 people that sit and learn Torah? So it says, She'oskim b'Torah Shechina is beinam. So we know 10 people, the Shechina is with them. 5, even 3, even, what about 2? Shenever says, like it says, Ad nidbaru yirei Hashem ish areu. Then those who fear God will speak one to his friend, namely 2 people. Yakshev Hashem, then Hashem will hear, he'll listen, and he will hear what you have to say. Ish areu, this implies 2. Please scroll up. Shvanei Amar, and it also says, and it says, Vayakshev Hashem Ishma, when 2 people are sitting and learning Torah, so Hashem listens and comes down. From here we know that the Shekhinah is between them. How do we know even 1? If he sits and he learns Torah, that the Shekhinah is with him, because it says, Kol Makom, any place that my name is mentioned. In other words, the Makom in a place etin das, that I put my mind, belibcha, and belibcha, I put, sorry, not my mind, that I put a inspiration into your heart to mention my name. That's what Rashi says. And according to the Ritva, azkir, what do you mean? The word azkir means tazkir, that you will mention my name. You can exchange the letter aleph with the letter tuf. How do we do that? Atbash. Ever hear of atbash? Huh? Gardak. You ever heard this? There's different ways in Kabbalah to get deeper meanings from words. One way is by gematria. The other way is by exchanging letters, permeating letters. Sometimes you can exchange letters, like according to the organs of speech. You can explain. You can exchange an aleph for chet, like it says. Vo'ed is echad, atvan, chalufi atvan. The vav can be exchanged with an aleph, and etc. There's another way you can do it, what's called atpash. You take the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and exchange it for the last. So anytime you see a letter aleph, you can put a tuf there. And the same way the other way around. Anytime you see a beit, you can put a shin there. And also, by means of that, you can get different gematrias and different things. The big Kabbalists, they do this. They're not just messing around with numbers and impressing people. The big people of the Kabbalists, they really have a feeling and an understanding of the powers that God uses to create the world. And these powers are God's letters. And so they exchange the Arizal and these people, they're not just playing games with letter games, playing whatever, Scrabble or something. I will come and bless you. Lashon Yachid, I will come. According to the Gemara, so the Gemara now asks a question. Gemara asked an obvious question, right? If God rests on one person, so what do you have to tell us? God even rests on two people, three people. Just start off and say, anyone who learns Torah, God is there. 2 people learning Torah? Of course, that's 2 times God is there. 10 times God. What do you have to say? How do we know that God is on 10 people? How do we know on 5? How do we know on this? How do we know on 1? So it explains 1. If 1, so what do you have to tell about 10 for? So the Gemara explains like this. Shown it's different, Arkam, the quality of the numbers of people that are learning Torah. Kafisha muchach, like you can see from the sentences. Shnayim, if there's 2 people that learn Torah, then their words are written down in a book of memory. Shekatuv bahem. Vayakshev Hashem v'yishma, like it says, God listens and He writes them down. Vayichtov b'sefer yikotev b'sefer zikaron, and they will be written in the book of memory of God. History. Please scroll down. Lefana, before Him. Ma she'enken, which is not the case. If one person learns Torah, then his words, so to speak, are not written down forever. What this means, we can talk about it later, but nevertheless, it's not as good. 3 people learning Torah, Hakavana means the Beit Din, a court. And the Tan is coming to tell us that also, even if a person goes to court, the Pasher, and he wants to make, let's say, an agreement with somebody, the Dun, or to make a judgment, or the Hatil Shalom being a Brios, or to make peace between others, so there won't be an argument, judges tell them what to do. This is as though they are working in Torah. What about 10 people? If 10 people learn Torah, then the Shekhinah comes before them. If it's 10 people that are going to learn Torah, then God's presence is there before them, which is not the case 3. If 3 people are learning Torah, the Shekhinah does not come except when they are already sitting and learn and judging. Some people say a little bit different way. What's the difference between 10 and 5? The difference between a lot of Jews learning Torah and a few, this is hinted at in the following sentences. If one person learns Torah, then it says, Avo, I will come and bless you. Namely, the Shekhinah, and it doesn't stay there. I'll come and I'll go. But it comes to bless you. And then immediately it goes away as soon as you stop learning. Mashal Melech, like a king, Hanichnas, the ear that comes to a city, Omosa la'avo devorim achadim, and he gives something to one people that he likes, and then he goes. King has other things to do. One person learns Torah, God blesses you, and then leaves. What about 2 people? Then it says Vayakshev Hashem v'yishma. Then God delays by you a little while, and He listens to everything that you have to say. One person, it could be you're sitting and learning. God is happy. He doesn't even wait to hear what you have to say. gives you a blessing. That's nice. 2 people, it says God waits for you to hear what you have to say. With 3 people, Ne'amar, it says, Bekerev Elokim Yishpot, that God joins with them. 3 people learning Torah or making a judgment, God joins together with them at the time they're making the judgment. What about 5? 5, it says, Agarato Ade Oretz Yesada, it says, Shemaniach Yesod Lebinyan. Yesada means a foundation. This is like a king that comes to a city and make him lo sham achsanya kavua. And God sets a permanent house for him. He said, I like this city. I'm going to make my own permanent home here whenever I come. 5 people learning Torah, Hashem stays there permanently. When God says, whenever I come here, then I'm going to visit you. I'm here with you, right, in a permanent way whenever I decide. 10 people, then it says Hashem nitzav ba'aretz kel. Then Hashem says, I'm going to stay here forever. Ikar mishkano v'yishkavu. Then I'll be here forever. 10 people will learn Torah. This is what Rabbi Yosef Yabetz explains. In other words, the Frierdiker Rebbe has a big sikh about this, and especially it was said around the time when he got out of prison that 10 people sitting and learning Torah, I have to admit that I'm sort of weak at this, but if you can get a group of people to learn Torah, it's much better, like we're doing now, Baruch Hashem. So I guess I'm not so weak. I didn't think about that. 10 people that are learning Torah, as it's much stronger than 5 people or 3 people or 2 people, and certainly more than 1 person. The problem is, of course, 1 person, it's much easier to arrange it. You don't have to go and call people up and look and see. But now that I said that, I sort of take it back, because I do have, someone that I learn with every day. We learn Rambam. It's true. We learn Rambam every single day. I do not learn alone. I used to learn alone. Now I learn Rambam every day. And Baruch Hashem, all of us sit and we learn 2-3 hours a day. We're sitting and learning. That's a big blessing. So good. I take it back. Good. It's a good thing, in any case, to learn together. More, the better. So invite your friends. Now we're going to learn 5 minutes of Basar v'chalav, milk and meat. We are now on chapter 94.